Welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. Another day, another little nuisance snow. Well, got a little quick plowing done on the driveway there. I get questions sometimes from people saying, why do I even plow the driveway? We've got a Jeep, a Bronco, my truck's four-wheel drive. Well, there's a lot of reasons. Number one, if you don't get this stuff off of here and it gets cold, you end up with ice. But number two, and most importantly, especially the sidewalks and this concrete area right here, our son Hunter, the one with autism, I mean, physically, he's totally fine, but he just takes off and goes. And I know he knows it's a little bit slippery, but he doesn't slow down. So I try to keep things as snow and ice-free as possible, just so he doesn't fall. Matter of fact, last year, I think I told this story in a video, we were coming down the deck, and the deck was a sheet of ice. And like I said, Hunter just takes off. I'm like, Hunter, hold on, give me your hand. And so I'm like holding his hand to keep him from falling. And I stepped on the first step. Whew, feet went out from under me all the way to the bottom. Boom, 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 boom. And Hunter's just standing there looking at me like, what the heck? So maybe I'm to the point in my life where he should be holding my hand so I don't fall. I don't know. But that's why I try to keep things as clear as possible. But anyway, that is not what today's video is about. Last week, the other day, I had to make a trip to Philadelphia. As you know, we sell fire starter. We make fire starter here at our place, and I also get fire starter from Dean Kraut, and we sell quite a bit of it. And last weekend we put some up. We sold, I think, another 700 or 750 bags. I don't even know. Levi is shipping that out the last couple days. But I discovered we needed to do something to speed up the process. So what I did, I took the slowest part of the process, which was the bagging of the fire starter. May not seem like a big deal, but it probably takes a minute, maybe a minute and 10 seconds, excuse me, per bag to put the product in the bag, weigh the bag. You know, you might have to put a little bit more in it, take a little bit out. We like to make sure everything, if someone's paying for a 1.75 pound bag, you want it to be at least 1.75 pounds. A little bit more is fine, but we don't want to short anyone. And so you weigh it, and then what else you do? Yeah, put the twisty tie on it, put a label on the bag, and we put it in this big basket. Averages, like I said, probably a minute to a minute and 15 seconds. And there's other parts of it as well that are kind of slow, but the bagging was kind of the bottleneck. So I wanted to buy like a bagging machine, and I had no idea what to buy, but I wasn't going to spend a bunch of money just for fire starter. So we have another couple products in mind. It's actually in the works, not fire starter related, but I think you guys will really like it. So we have two other products that are coming in the next couple months that we will have to bag as well. But we always say there is a subscriber for everyone, or for everything. And after we sold the fire starter for one or two times, I got an email from this guy, Tyler. And Tyler said, basically, I'm in his world now. He knew right away that the bagging of that product had to take some time. And that's all they do. They sell bagging machines, scales, anything like that at all. So long story short, Tyler and I were talking back and forth, and we sent some product to a couple companies, and they ran some tests on their machines, and we settled on the right bagging machine. So I hope that brings you up to speed. Next part of this video is going to be from my visit at Allfill, the day that I went to pick up the machine. It was a long day. I left here about 5:30 a.m. I think it was about 4.5 hours is what the GPS said, but I pulled a trailer out there with me. It was probably more like 5.5 hours. So I had some training on the machine, and then when they were palletizing it and all that, me and Tyler went out to lunch. went back, picked it up. But yeah, I got back about 10:30, 11 o'clock that night. It was a long day. But let me show you the part of the video from when I visited Allfill. Really, really neat company. And I didn't even know stuff like this existed. When you go to, we'll get back to that in a little bit. All right, first off, tell me a little bit about Allfill.
Yeah, Allfill was established in 1969. It's a third-generation company. The grandsons have taken it over, and it originally started as an auger filling company. The grandfather drove around the country selling augers out of the back of his pickup truck. Now, the grandsons have kind of blossomed the company into kind of a turnkey type of packaging equipment. We have obviously vibratory fillers, auger fillers still, liquid fillers, check weighers, cappers, unscramblers, and vertical form fill and steel baggers. So kind of a full spectrum of products now to accommodate different sets of packaging needs throughout the industry.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about this one?
So this is our 200E vibratory filler. Obviously we got two different lanes here. Both of these 7-liter weigh buckets are on a load cell, 20 kg load cell each. And each lane works in tandem, right? So you'll have massive product dumping into these weigh buckets, weighing the amount of product within. Once you hit your target weight, it then dispenses into, if you have a bag or a rigid container. And while this one is dumping into your bag, this other lane is filling up into the weigh bucket. So this is our semi-automatic unit. It comes with a foot pedal for an operator to use. We can also integrate a conveyor if we have some type of rigid bottle. In that case, a bottle will come down, stop at the fill station. The bucket will release the product into the container, and then the container will go on its way downstream.
Right. Very nice. How many employees are at this facility?
At this facility, 150, 175-ish.
You have another one?
We have another one just opened up in Phoenix, Arizona. That's AFI West, we call it. There's probably another 15 or 20 or so guys out there, and they deal with mainly the West Coast, working with, they have a full service department. They do assembly there, and they ship out and check out machines in Phoenix, Arizona as well.
Very cool.
The first thing you want to do is you're going to select, and in here is where you have your recipes that you create. Right now I've already created a recipe for the 1.75. Select recipe 1, and we go to main screen. Now I can go into my setup, just to double check. So my first option here is to set up the target weight. So I have cedar shavings, 1.75 pounds. My tolerance is 0.035. Which makes my low limit weight 0.175, and then that gives me my high limit. Also here you have your pre-act. Pre-act is the product that's in transition before it gets to the actual weigh bucket coming from the vibrator. So what I like to do is I start that off at 0. Now I can go in, I can set up my... Now we have the bulk of our target weight, which we currently have now, so at 90%. And 90%, our vibration is going to be at 90% max. So what we want to do is we want to move the majority of our weight into the bucket as fast as possible to get as much production out of it as possible. Then we have a dribble. So once it achieves 90% of the target weight, it's going to dribble at 50% of the vibration to achieve the final weight. Yep, and that kind of helps you fine tune it a little bit more. Okay. Then you just have the same thing on the other vibrator. Here we have to set up the bucket. The bucket tear rate. So right now, it'll initially tear on your first run, and now it's not going to tear for another 25 cycles. 25 cycles, it'll re-tear itself. That way you can go a little bit faster, you're not waiting on any delay.
Right.
The bucket tear delay is after it gets done dumping and then closing, how long the delay takes for the scale basically to stabilize itself out.
Okay.
Bucket open time is, once the weight is achieved, the bucket opens up. How long does the bucket stay open for the product to completely drain out of it? And we have a minimum fill time. You put in there, so if it knows that if it achieves its weight before then, notices something's wrong. So about half second on there. Then you can also put a maximum fill time. If I enter a time into there, say 10 seconds, that's going to let me know that as I fill and achieve my weight, if I haven't done it in 10 seconds, then pretty much I know that we're starving product in the main input top. Drop time is basically how long it takes to go from here to there. So I'm going to leave that at 0 and both these at 0, so that way I don't get any alarms.
All right, so tell me about this machine here.
So these are called vertical form, fill, and seal machines. The reason why they're called vertical form, fill, and seal is because they create a bag, but the bag has to have a vertical seal, something like this. Typical bag of chips has this vertical seal down the back. So what this machine does, it has a fill head, so it's gonna fill the bag with whatever product you want. The fill head depends on the product. So here we would have some kind of powder product, powder or granular with an auger filler here. But in the back of the machine is where you'll have your roll stock of film. And that roll of film gets turned into the bag using a forming collar, which is located right here. And these forming collars create the width of the bag. We can adjust the height. So you would need a different forming collar for each width bag you have. So this one here looks like we have probably a 3-inch wide bag. So we have a forming collar creating that 3-inch width, and then it forms around a tube in there where the filler will line up, fill the product through the tube, and then that bottom seal is already created from the last bag. The product hits the bottom. There's a vertical seal bar right here, heats up, seals the back. The top is still open, fills the product. And then the jaws here at the bottom have a protruding knife that will cut off the finished bag while sealing the top of that finished bag. And at the same time, it's creating the bottom seal of the next bag so we can then fill simultaneously. So these machines can go up to 100, 150 per minute and even faster. We have different models for different size bags.
Well, there's a lot going on in there.
There is a lot going on, yes.
Yeah. So we are here with Tyler. Now, they're back there crating up my machine.
Yep.
We're going to take a few minutes to BS here for a minute, but why don't you introduce yourself, Tyler, tell everyone what you do and how we connected.
Yeah. So my name's Tyler Welch. I work for a company called Managed Packaging Systems. We're out of Heartland, Wisconsin.
Good log splitters come out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's where I've been a fan of your channel for probably 2.5 years, and just kind of got hooked on it. I don't know how or why, but it's addicting, and me and my kids watch it all the time. And so I noticed you came out with this fire starter product, last fall, and I was kind of intrigued because we're in the packaging business. So our whole thing is we try to help businesses become more efficient with their packaging, right? So whether that's through equipment or special packaging materials, all of those things, we're here to consult and help you become more efficient. So I saw that, you introduced the fire starter, and it seemed like it was a big hit right away, and it kind of, I was like, oh, the Mike might be on something here.
You knew right away that the bagging was going to be the bottleneck.
Yeah, yep. So it was a few weeks later, and you came out with some more, and it sold right away again. And so that's when I said, I got to reach out to Mike here, because if I can help them, I want to, you know, and that's how we got connected, and here we are today at Allfill.
Yeah, we're near Philadelphia, actually. So you had a flight out here this morning, and
Yep.
you're going back tonight.
Yep.
So tell them what else you're into. What do you like doing in Wisconsin?
I like to hunt. I like to split wood. It's kind of like your channel is
Yeah.
kind of right up my alley. But just anything in the outdoors. Got 5 kids, and they keep me plenty busy.
How old's the oldest?
7.
7. You got your hands full. You and your wife.
Yep.
Yeah. And then what do you do a few things on the side, don't you?
Yep. So I got a couple of businesses I run. One's an ice fishing lure business, and the other one's a paracord gunslings.
Ice fishing's probably pretty big in Wisconsin, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It doesn't sound fun, but it is.
Yeah, it doesn't. No, it does sound fun. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, very good. Yeah, I appreciate you reaching out to me and everything, and anxious to get this machine home. We both got a long day of traveling ahead of us yet, but
We do.
yeah, it said it would take me 4.5 hours, but maybe pulling a trailer, it was like 5:15 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Maybe the wind will be at your back on the way home.
yeah, yeah.
But no, I appreciate the business, Mike, and it's been a joy to meet you and get you set up here. And I think you'll be really happy with this Allfill machine.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Tyler. Thanks.
Thank you.
So that was the guys from Allfill and some of their equipment. But it's kind of interesting when you're buying something in a store or you order something online. You often look at the packaging. At least I do. I always try to figure out how things work, and you wonder how they do that. These are the guys that figure out how to do that. And something else I learned when I was out there, you know, when you buy a bag of potato chips and there's a lot of air in the bag, well, everybody always says they just want to make the bag look bigger. There's another reason for that. That may be part of it, but the main reason is that air in the bag is kind of a cushion for the potato chips. If you just filled it completely to the top with potato chips, all the potato chips would be smashed by the time you got them home from all the transportation and handling in the bag. So the air in the packaging works kind of like a cushion. I did not know that. All right, so we're inside the building here. We've got the Allfill machine inside the other day. It weighs about 500 or 600 pounds, but when it came, we had the hopper off of it. The chute down here at the bottom was off of it, and it was on that pallet, and I had it in the dump trailer, and Levi and I were starting to kind of wrestle it out, and I called over neighbor Cliff, and he happened to have 2 friends over, so they came over, and we all just lifted it out, no problem. It's on casters, so you can move it around. But they kind of went over it earlier in the video, a little bit more technical. I'm going to go over it pretty quick here. Try to explain it a little more basically.
Okay.
So you got the hopper up here, right? You got these trays right here. Now, when I first saw this operate, I thought it had little conveyors in here. It does not. It vibrates, okay? And you can adjust how much it vibrates, all that stuff with this. But anyway, it dumps into these fill buckets right here, weigh buckets, I guess you would call them.
Okay.
These have load sensors on them. And once it gets the correct amount of weight, it stops vibrating, stops putting the product in there.
Oh, so cool.
And then you have a foot pedal that you step on, and it will dump, you know, just a button. It will dump down the chute into the bag. Now, this chute right here will work for the like 4-pound bags of fire starter, but it's a little bit wide for the 1.75 pound bags. So we made that determination when I was out there. So they're making a new one of these. I think they're shipping this actually today or tomorrow. And those guys were so good. When we were looking at this and we were running it, we were getting a few pieces kind of falling over the side here and occasionally over here because it drops down out of here. So the new one is going to be narrowed up a little bit and kind of have a little return right here just to keep those few pieces.
Now, will the new one fit both bags?
Yes.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, the new one will fit both bags. On the hopper, we ran a bunch of product through it. Occasionally, I didn't see it, but occasionally it could bind up, they said in there a little bit. So on the back of this, there's a vibrator. I need to plug it in. And then this controls the vibrator. So right here, if need be, if you got a little clog, you can quickly just burn.
Got it.
And it'll shake it. to come down into the thing. But it should do about, I don't know, 5 to 8 bags a minute, something like that. And the reason it has 2 chutes, it just doubles the speed of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're anxious to get her going. Like I said, we will use this for fire starter. And we also have 2 other products that I think will be a big hit as well. And this will come in handy for that. Like I said, a minute 15 per bag doing it by hand doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're doing 400 or 500 bags or something, it takes a lot of time. We won't run this, you know, like 8 hours a day or anything like that, 5 days a week. But the reason we got it is we can just do fire starter in a couple hours, bag it up, you know what I mean? And then
opens up time to do some other stuff that we're behind on.
Right. And like I said, this was the bottleneck. It wasn't the beginning of the process or not the very end, but this seemed to be the slowest. So we started with this, and then we'll work both ways from there and just always try to get, you know, better and a little bit, you know, just keep things moving.
I agree. I like it. This is great.
And I was surprised because Melissa was 100% in favor of this, weren't you?
Yeah, once again, it was kind of like the building. I'm the one that suggested, hey, why don't you go extra long?
Extra 12 feet. Yeah,
extra 12 feet on this building. And he looked at this machine. There was another one you looked at, right?
Yeah, it was a single. It was the single.
Yeah, it was a single. And I'm like, why don't you get the double and, you know, can double our time and product and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he did. So, you know, there's 2 suggestions I've made in 32 years that he's listened to.
Nah, that's not true. But anyway, that is the story on that. And also I wanted to mention Tyler. He's the one that watches our channel and emailed me about all this and got the ball rolling on everything. He has a YouTube channel. He does hunting videos, and he's a great guy, great family man, outdoorsy kind of guy. I'll put a link for his channel in the description and also for their company, Managed Package Solutions, if anyone's interested in that kind of stuff. Videos like this, I enjoy doing because I like finding things that are new. I didn't even know stuff like this existed.
I didn't either. I'm sure I knew it existed, but just for big corporations.
Yeah, like big companies. And you just don't think of that kind of stuff. And all the work that goes into it, all the engineering and design work and salespeople, it's fascinating. So since I got this, I look at products in stores differently now because I'm like, oh, I think I know what kind of machine did that. And the story behind that all fill is pretty cool too. They mentioned it was started by a guy, you know, driving around in his truck selling augers all over the country, and it has grown into this big company that makes all this automated and computerized stuff. So, but anyway, I think that's about it. Anything else you want to add, Melissa?
Yeah, thanks to Tyler and
all Phil.
He's been great. Yeah, they've been great.
Yeah. But that's about it. We appreciate y'all being here. I will catch you on the next one.
Thanks.